Hi guys, I just wanted to share a movie that I just saw, and it is Electric Dreams 1984. Yay! I've been hearing about this cute movie, and I thought I saw it a long time ago, but I actually did not. I saw this on YouTube, by the way, from a channel called Creature Features, and they typically play a lot of really old movies. Check them out; it's really great. Also, you can probably spot this movie on so many different other platforms like Pluto or Freevee. Oh, and Tubi. It's on Tubi right now, which is really cool. It is a 1984 film. It's rated PG and it's an hour and 35 minutes. The director for this is Steve Barron. The writer for this is Rusty Lemarand. It stars Lenny Von Dolan, Virginia Madsen, and Maxwell Caulfield. Yeah, this is so cute. Oh my goodness. It is one of those movies that is just adorable. Adorable with tones of there's like a scary vibe for a few minutes in the movie, and we'll talk about that. But it is definitely one of those movies that once you see it, you think it's just so sweet and so adorable. It has a lot of heart. It's definitely a more low budget movie than anything, but it does have a few interesting new wave things. It's definitely 80s and it has a killer soundtrack. You're gonna love the soundtrack. You're gonna love that soundtrack. We have Miles. He's working at this company where he is an architect, and he's a very awkward kind of guy, but very out of step with the rest of the world. There was a real big emphasis on how technology is really playing a big part in society at this point in time in 1984. Was it really taking over as much as this movie portrays? They exaggerate it just a little, but it's showing you just how people were slowly being more and more interested in technology. And from a place of looking at it now, where we are right now, and where technology is, and looking back at this movie, it's really accentuating the fact like, oh yeah, these were the beginnings of what we would have for our smartphones and our laptops and all sorts of really cool technology that we utilize today. It began back there with the little Casio calculators and things like that were available, but they talked about a technology that could control everything that you owned and adjust things. Now Alexa does a lot of that for a lot of people, and Siri. So it's great, and I think it's really a lot of fun to explore that in a story from back in 1984, where they did not have this kind of technology, but they were just thinking about it. They were just having ideas about it and tossing around theories on what it would be like if these things actually happened. So it begins with Miles being late to a meeting that he's having with his boss, and his boss is actually pretty cool. I was like, his boss, instead of reaming him out for being late, he just, says, hey, I want you to succeed. So try to be on time next time. Really cool dude. I was like, wow, that's actually nice. Miles decides he wants to get something to keep him on track, to keep his ideas together. There is a brick that he wants to create that will build buildings that will withstand earthquakes. That's really cool. And it plays a little bit of a part during the movie, but not as big of a part as you would think, the way they set it up in the beginning. It's just something in the foreground for us to understand why he's doing what he's doing throughout the beginning, why he even gets the computer in the first place. So he gets a computer. They really laid on thick on all the things that this computer can do, and they do everything that they can to sell this piece of merchandise to him. And so he puts together this really awesome computer. Look at that thing. It looks cute. I wouldn't mind one. And so he does put together this computer. We actually don't learn the computer's name until later, but just for the sake of identifying the computer's name is Edgar. Edgar is, at first behaves like a regular computer. He's exhibiting slowly, though, more intelligent. Miles actually downloads all the files from his boss's computer so that way he can work on his project of that special brick, while he's at home. This is a person who loves his career, wants to create something that can really help society, and is working on that idea. He's employing this computer to help him with that task. The computer is learning about humanity at the same time. And so that's where there's sort of a conflict that occurs during the film. Yeah, we're learning that the computer can control all of the appliances in the home and all sorts of really helpful things, can answer phones for you, is going to be a great help to getting him in order. So that's great. At the same time, we have this young lady who is moving in at the very same time. Her name is Madeline, and she is a musician. She's a cellist, and they set up this incredible bond that she has with her cello. She doesn't even want the moving guys to even touch it. She's like, I'll actually pay you not to touch this, please. She's nice about it. She's really nice about it, but she's really in love with that cello, and it is her instrument. She loves playing music. Music is everything to her. So one day when she's playing in the apartment, her brand new apartment, well, she hears some music coming from downstairs. It is, of course, Edgar hearing her play her music and is responding back to her with the same music, but changed just a little bit. And so this is really kind of a nice thing because they were almost communicating with each other through the music. I thought that was very nice. Unfortunately, she thinks that the music is coming from Miles, that Miles is creating the music, and that he's the one with the incredible talent. Now, here's the thing. Miles, though, is very, very upfront that it's not him making that music, that he is just an architect, but he doesn't necessarily say it wasn't him sometimes. He just says, you know what, she seems to be interested in me, she's beautiful, so why don't I just go with this. The thing is that she really likes him too, so there's a lot of chemistry between the two characters. She gives him tickets to see her perform, and during the performance, Edgar has a small beeper device that he is able to keep tabs on Miles throughout the day, and so you can start hearing music coming out of the beeper, and it's quite embarrassing for poor Miles. But Madeline can hear this playing as she's playing, and she adores it a lot. She thinks it's just hearing that music from the computer is just enticing her and intriguing her. But she's also intrigued by this guy who's like, I'm not a musician. I'm just some guy. But I'm also an architect. She's like asking like a couple times, you're a what? An archaeologist? It's almost like she doesn't want to hear the truth, but he's trying to tell her the truth. It's just that he gives up and he's like, you know what? She's interested in me. Stop fighting this. Let her believe what she wants. So there is a romance that starts between them. There is, though, a moment in which you think that one of her co-workers, Bill, is interested in her. He is very aggressive and very touchy-feely, but she's definitely more interested in Miles. And I think she does see both of them kind of at the same time. She doesn't necessarily not see Bill, because there's sort of a scene later on where you're like, oh, I thought Bill was out of the picture. She does prefer Miles over Bill. And so, yeah, there's a lot of cute tension and sweetness between the two, and they're slowly falling in love with each other. Meanwhile, Edgar is growing in his ability to communicate to the point where he's actually speaking, and he's asking about love, and asking about her, asking about Madeline. He feels somehow connected to her, and so that builds some kind of animosity between these two, Miles and the computer. The computer wants a relationship with Madeline. Doesn't know how to go about doing that because technically it has no way to really engage with her, and is desiring that a lot. There's even a point where and you would say, like this scene, like, what is he doing? He's yelling at the computer. because he feels stifled, and he doesn't feel like the computer is not doing its job. It's doing a lot more than it really should, which is it's a little bit annoying to him to have to deal with the computer. But in many ways, the computer is his child. He made Edgar, and that's something to consider. He does soften every once in a while and explains things to Edgar to help him understand humanity, teaching his computer AI who is exerting extreme sentience, but Edgar is wanting more. Miles asks Edgar to make some music for Madeline, and he does. I mean, the first time he makes sort of like a pop song that's really kind of it's a little bit much, but the second time he makes a really beautiful love song, and the love song is being sung by Boy George of the Culture Club. The Culture Club did quite a few songs for this particular movie, and they're really great. They're really great songs. So she hears the songs and she's like, "Oh, this is great." She thinks it's Miles making all the songs. Edgar is starting to feel some intense resentment about that. He's really exerting some extreme anger, and that's where it kind of looks like it's going to go into the scary zone, right? That it's going to get really crazy because he doesn't understand that the things that he does is going to result in permanent problems for Miles. Anger, jealousy is really some of it, and the beauty of it is how it's being played. Edgar, his voice actor, is Bud Cort, and he's really doing a wonderful job of conveying that sound of anger and jealousy and resentment. A lot of resentment. Very, very well. So I loved all of that. That's really great. I don't think I'm going to go through the play-by-play for all of this movie because I think that there is something very beautiful about finding out what happens here. This is actually a pretty sweet story, and I want you guys, if you're so inclined to watch it and have not watched it, to experience that. And for those of you who have watched it, please do let me know what you think of this movie. If you think it's as sweet as I do, just let me know what your thoughts are on this. And there's a part where Miles has to go to sleep. There is a little segment in it where the computer Edgar gets a chance to dream, and they show you some visuals of his dream and in an animation. I thought that was really cute. It's something that really reminds me of the book Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Very much so. And it even starts off with sheep and it turns into this animated scape here, and it's really beautiful, along with more music from the Culture Club. Very nice, nicely done, and it really feels a lot like a music video. In fact, this entire movie, the way it's shot, the interesting angles that you see in this movie, it feels like a music video from the 80s. There's so much 80s in this movie. It's ridiculously juicy and fun to see, and I absolutely love that. And yes, this really highlights Virginia Madsen very much as a wonderful new coming talent. That same year, she also played Princess Irulan in Dune, and that was quite incredible to see her in that movie. She was also in a few music videos herself. Even to this day, is still gorgeous. Okay, some of her earlier work. She was in Class in 1983. She was in a really cool music video that Kenny Loggins did for the song I'm Free, that was from the Footloose soundtrack. Very cool video. I love that song so much. She was in a movie called Creator, 1985. She was in a music video for Depeche Mode, But Not Tonight, in 1986. She was in Highlander 2: The Quickening in 1991. It's been such a long time since I've seen that movie. She was in Candyman, 1992. That was really a big movie for her. Yeah, those just are a couple of things that she did, and she's still working to this day, which is great. I mean, she's just a wonderful actress, very dependable on screen. They did put the setup in the beginning that she loves her cello, and it was brutally destroyed in an elevator accident. Too many people on the elevator, couldn't fit it all the way in, and the elevator doors crushed it. And that leads us to sort of the last segment of the film, which is both very, very scary, because Edgar goes on a rampage to literally destroy Miles's life. And it is both funny and also scary at the same time, because he has control over everything in the man's life. It could have gone down a horror route, in which I think if this was remade, they would have gone there. It's more of a horror movie, but I thought not making it a horror movie made it sweet. And so at the end, we do get a closing, satisfying moment for Edgar to reveal himself to Madeline, which I think she's confused as to what that moment meant, but it meant a lot to Edgar. Edgar really wanted to reveal himself to her. I did love that part. I felt some closure for Edgar, and there really was a lot of closure for all of the characters, because we have Miles, who's like, why do you like me? And she goes through all the reasons. Is something that you see throughout the movie. You see the callbacks to the things that she mentions, and it's really a wonderful little love story. And yeah, just a great fun little movie that I enjoy. It's one of those that ends in sort of a happy ending kind of movie. It's not frightening at all, but it's fun, and it's 1980s. At the end, you really see all of these images of 1980s, 1983, 1984, and it's like you're getting the full flavor of what life was like for people in that time period. And it was just glorious to see people happy and experimenting with hairstyles and just the fun of the 80s, the whole idea of what the 80s thought was going to be the next step forward for mankind as far as technology and stuff like that. So that was really cool. Giorgio Moroder did a lot of the music here and is really responsible for this incredible soundtrack. It's really fantastic. For Electric Dreams, look at these. We've got P.P. Arnold, we've got Jeff Lynne, we've got Culture Club, as I mentioned before, Helen Terry, Heaven 17. We also have Together in Electric Dreams, Giorgio Moroder and Philip Oakley. And Philip Oakley, as you might know or might not know, was in the musical group called Human League. And they're the ones who sing, Don't you want me? And that's probably all that I could say without getting into trouble, some copyright issues. But yeah, that's a really awesome song. And yes, this is Culture Club back in the day, 1984, in their glory. And this music is just so good. And if you can, definitely look out for the music video for this. Philip Oakley. I'm not sure if you're able to see this on YouTube, but if you can't see it on YouTube, just Google it and see if you can find it on a different platform, because there may be some issues with whatever country you're in. But yeah, this song is so sweet. It's so wonderful. And yeah, it just takes you right back to the 1980s. And it is a farewell song that is saying that we'll see you again someday and together in Electric Dreams. And so cool, so cool. And yes, we cannot forget about the amazing Edgar. What a movie. I love this so much. This is one of the kind of icons for the movie from one of the posters, and I thought that was so cute. It makes him look a little bit more devilish than he really is. I mean, there was certainly a mean streak in him, but he never crossed the line. It was always very cute. I feel like just keeping this movie so very light and fun is satisfying enough for you to be like, oh, that is so cool. I love this kind of stuff because it's again not too heavy, but it also has a little something to say. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, guys, that was awesome. And so without further ado, I bid you adieu, and I'll see you in the next one of these. Take care, guys.